So this particular line will generate three logarithmic space points between 1 and 10. So let's see what will be the output. The output will be 1, 3 and 1 into 10. So similarly, you can change the number of elements to 5 and the output will differ in this manner. You can also change the endpoint value to false, and you can also try it with true, and you can see the difference also. For example, if I by default it is true, but now if I set it false, the output will change and it will not take 10 as an output. Now we talk about MaxGrid command, the MaxGrid function. The MaxGrid function is similar to the MATLAB MaxGrid command. If you are aware of MATLAB MaxGrid, it works in similar manner. It will generate a MaxGrid depending on the input. For example, to generate a MaxGrid command, we have to first create a grid. For example, let's take X to be linear space between 1 and 3 with 3 elements. So now X will be 1, 2 and 3. Similarly, Y be with 3 element, another linear spaced element, and let Y be from 2 to 4 be 3 element, and so Y will be 2, 3, 4. Okay, now if I generate a MaxGrid of AB using X and Y, I have to write the command AB equal to numpy MaxGrid in bracket X and Y. The output will generate a MaxGrid of this two element, that is A will be different 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and B will be this 2 3 4 2. So it will generate a MaxGrid. So it generates a two-dimensional coordinate system where x-axis is given by the first argument, that is X, and y-axis is given by the second argument, that is Y. This is as per the example I am explaining. This function is used while plotting three-dimensional plot, or defining a function, or defining two variables defined on two variables. So similar to MaxGrid, there are other grids also available, that is MGrid and OGrid. So MGrid and OGrid are used to create mesh directly, that is without using line space, arange or so on. It uses simple statement. Means in MaxGrid function we have to generate x-axis array, we have to generate. In MGrid we don't require this simple function for MGrid. Just let me give you an example. So in the similar manner, let's say a comma b and numpy mgrid. Okay, so it will generate this is the syntax of it. For example, the first will be x-axis. For x-axis I want up to 1 to 10, and for y-axis I want up to 2 to 5. We have to use the colon here. It will construct a grid where x-axis has point from 1 to 10 and y-axis has point from 2 to 5. Okay, so it will construct a multi-dimensional mesh grid, and let's say what will the output. A will be 1 to 9, B will be 2 to 4. It includes the endpoint here. Similarly, OGrid is also used. Let us check the example of OGrid. Now how OGrid changes. Now instead of AB, if I write MGrid, I convert it to OGrid, that is from origin, and here 0 to 10, here 0 to 5. So A will be 0 to 9, B will be 0 to 4. So as you know, what I want to explain is OGrid is used for original purpose. MeshGrid, MGrid is used for creating mesh. OGrid is used for creating one-dimensional graph. The next important topic here is tile function, which I want to explain. Now, the tile function is used mainly to construct smaller array from bigger array. For example, if you form a target array of a smaller size, a bigger array can be constructed using the tile function, and vice versa. Tile does nothing but this tile function makes a copy of an existing array by the defined number of times. you ask tile function to multiply, means to repeat the number 3 times, so it will repeat the new array with 3 times the number repeated. Let's check an example and how it works. Okay, first of all, let me clear the command window. So as our previous example, here we will also go for the array A. Now let us say that A is the array numpy array 1 2 3. So by REPL notation, it will generate an array of 1 2 3. Now another array B will be generated from A. This will be a bigger array, but A will be the target array and it should be repeated 3 times. So array A is repeated 3 times to make a new array B, and the output will be 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. That is the array. Okay, another example to do the same for two-dimensional array is using an I matrix. That is A1 is equal to numpy I, that is 4. Okay, so A1 will be this. Now if I want to create the two-dimensional array from this array, I can use the tile function. So A1 is this, A2 will be numpy dot tile A1 comma 2. Okay, so A2 will be this array. Now this is quite simple, that A1 is in first dimensional only, that is row wise. Okay, now to create A2 that is similar to a 2-dimension, that is repeat A1 in both dimension. If I want to do like that, what I will do in the previous example, instead of 2 I will give it a 2-dimension input, that is 2 by 2. So now A2 will be in 2-dimension. It is quite difficult to understand it in this type of in 1D display, but when you go for plotting, when you are creating a 3D plot or animation model, during that time this type of operations are required, which we will discuss in our plotting section, how we are going to use mesh grid function, grid and no-grid function, similarly tile function to generate a 3D plot and other examples. Let's clear it. So moving towards the next topic, that is broadcasting. So as you know, basic operations on numpy arrays are element wise. This means that the dimension of the array should be compatible for the desired operation. For example, a 2 array and 2 array would be for example 2 arrays would be incompatible, as the first array have fewer columns than the second one. Okay, at that point broadcasting is used. So broadcasting what do, it enables array, for example let's say array A is about 4 cross 4 size, is to be added to an array to 4 cross 1. Even though there would be a size difference, broadcasting enables array A, which is of different dimension m cross n, and array B, which is of different dimension m cross O, to produce a array C, that is m cross n. Let us check it by an example here. Okay, this is one of the feature of Python that is available. Let me open the console. After clearing this, let us check how this example works. So first of all, we will go for a simple example only. So let's say A is an simple identity matrix. A 4 cross 4 matrix. Okay, and B is another array with which is not an identity matrix. It is 1 cross 4 array. Okay, so A and B. Now by rule, A and B cannot be added directly without any specific function. but Python has its own unique feature that it will allow array A and B to add. This is called a broadcast. Let's say the shape of A is 4 by 4, the shape of B is 4 comma 1, but the shape of C will be 4 by 4. We can also check the another example. For example, another example like again, let me say, I will first of all let me clear this. A is equal to this, you know what is A, that is A is this. So now let's say B is another, let's say instead of 1 2 3 4, I will say B is a floating point number, which is numpy.array.10. So B is this 1 to 10. 1 means 10 10 10. So the output of the array will be somewhere like that, that C is equal to B. It is possible in Python. So 4 cross 4 matrix can be operated with a 4 cross 1 matrix by making an invisible element of 0. This is all is possible due to the broadcasting feature of Python. It is not available in all the programming platform. Okay, to the next topic, that is diagonal elements. So extracting diagonal elements. So the diagonal elements of a given array or a matrix can be obtained using the diag function. So you can choose the diagonal using the second argument. By default, the value is 0, which indicates the main diagonal. Okay, but a positive value indicates that you are moving upward, and a negative value indicates that you're moving downward. This is similar to using I matrix that I have already mentioned earlier. That positive and negative is similar to I, but this is for extraction purpose. While the in I matrix, by using +1 -1, you shift the matrix, you shift the array values to upward and downward. Here, using positive and negative value, you select a particular diagonal value for extraction purpose. So let us check it with an example. Okay. In our Python console, first of all, clear our console. Now let me create a diagonal identity matrix, because most of the identity matrices are diagonal. Okay, so A is this with all diagonals. Now I want to extract the main diagonal. Okay, by default numpy, the diag function will extract the main diagonal, that is all elements with 1. The array will be 1. Now instead of this, I want to extract the diagonal elements that are in the upward direction. Okay, the output will be 0 0 0 0, the upward direction. Okay, now instead of +1, if I go for -1, it will generate to the downward direction, that is 0 0 0. Okay, so actually it is taking diagonal this particular 0 0 0, and above diagonal, if you go for -2, then it will take only 3 elements, that is the 3. So in this way, diagonal has been, if you want to extract the diagonal values of a matrix, of an array, you can. Okay, moving towards the next topic, that is indexing. So indexing also is one of the most important topic in when we talk about numerical computation. So let's say the elements of an array or list start with 0 in Python, which is by default it is 0. So the first element is indexed with number 0. So you can access this number, these elements, using the index number. So let us check with the example of Python. Okay, first of all, clear the screen. Now let me just generate an array, random array. Let me just create a string by default I will write just a simple example of a is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 and let us say 6. Okay, so by default it is a list type of function. Like if you want to check this, you can use the type function, and it is a list type. I have created a list and I have stored a number 1 2 6. Similarly, I want to create an array reference from A. So B is an array that is equal to A using list reference. So now B is an array of 1 2 3 4 5. It is not a list. Okay, you can check the type by using the type function. It is an array. So if I want to access the first element of an array or first element of a list, I will write A in bracket 0. So the first element is 1. Similarly, if I want to access the second element, it will be 3. If I access the first element, it is 2. By default, Python starts with indexing number 0. So the 0th element, the first element, the second element, like that. Similar, it occurs with B2. The first element of B will that is the 0th element will be 1. The first element will be 2. In this manner, you can also check it in the backward direction also. That is the -1 is 6. See, -0 is not possible, so you start from -1 in the backward direction. Okay, so this example make it clear that array are similar to list and follow the same rules of indexing. So multi-dimensional array also follows the same pattern of index. For two-dimensional array, the first number indicates row, the second number indicates column. That has to be clear. So let me create a two-dimensional array. Say array A1. I have created array A1. First of all, let me clear this window. I will create array A1 with 1 2 3 and 3 2 1. Okay, yes. So there are two-dimensional. Now if I write A1, and it will be a 2D array. Now if I want to choose a element whose row is 1 and column is 2, that is the second row and third column. It should be, again I want to make it clear that Python starts indexing from 0. So the second row will be indexed by 1 and the third column will be indexed by 2. So I will write A1 and bracket 1 comma 2. The first element indicates row and second element indicates column. So it is 1. First, third column, second row, third column. In this way we can select the using indexes, the particular element using index. Indexes can also be used to assign a particular value to the element. So you can use the assignment operator along with this. For example, in this, if I want to change the first element of array, that is 0 0 to, let's say, actually it is 1, I will write 1000. So now the A1 will be 1000 2 3 3 2 1. So in this way you can do this. Next thing is about slicing. So slicing is among the first operation an array which we actually apply during computation. Slicing always employs an operator colon which is used to separate the data on the row. For example, if I will first of all let's clear and let us generate an array with range 1 to 10. Okay, and up array. So A1 is from 1 to 9. Sorry, let me clear it again and let me generate an array A1. Okay, that is from this. So A1 will be from 0 to 9. By default it is from 0 to 9. Now to select slicing is the selection of a particular range of array using index number, which is mainly very much useful in computational purpose. So what I will do, for example, if I want to select from index 0 to index 5, okay, so I will by default it will generate from index 0 to index 5. So here it will exclude the fifth element. that is the sixth element by our rule, the fifth index number will be excluded, and from 0 to 4 will be there. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be there. But if you want to select from starting till index by excluding the index number, that is not always necessary to write 0. You can also write in this output will be the same. This is the flexibility that is available in Python. Okay. Now until the last index number, if you want to select any number until the last index number, you can use this. For example, from number 5 to this, it will go for up to the last index number. Okay. You can also give a step. For example, in here from 0 to index and up to 5, and a step of 2. Out will be 0, 2 and 4. What does it say is that the start point is 0th index number, the stop point will be the 5th index number, and you have to take a step of 2. The command will follow and slicing operation will be done. Slicing operation can also be accomplished for multi-dimensional array. Let's say here a tuple should be passed to define slicing for each desired dimension. Okay, for example, I run an array. Let's say we have array with a reference list. First of all, clear the command window, and we have array with reference 8.5. We have another array B with comments elements 5 to 9. Okay, now A1 is an array with elements from A to B. Okay, so it's a 2-dimensional. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is I1 is a 2-dimensional. If you want to check the dimension, you can use the AND function. So I want to start collecting the elements from index number 0 to column index number 2. Okay, so what I will do, A1 and it will give me an output 1, 2, 5, 6. 1, 2, 5, 6. That is this one. Okay, in similar manner you can go for different slicing too. Instead of 0 to 2, you can go for 0 to 4, and instead of 0 to 2, you can go for 7 to 4. Okay, it slicing can be done. Okay. In the similar way, you can also go for negative slicing. A similar logic can be applied for any dimensional array. So slicing became an extremely important tool for data filtering. In some cases, we would like to work with only specific number of rows and specific number of columns. In that case, slicing can be as per your requirement. In that case, slicing can be used. Moving forward, we will go about copying. I talked about slicing. Now copies and views, and then we'll talk about masking. Okay, so copying and viewing is not much different in Python. For a memory usage point of view, the slicing operations create a view of original array. It doesn't whenever it is required. So you can verify this claim that slicing is not actually is actually not utilizing your memory by storing it for all purposes. When you establish a variable stores the value to a memory. Slicing thus allow to view you in a memory. Okay, so you can use NumPy may share memory. We can verify this claim. Let us see what happens here. So first of all, let me clear this. So you know that, for example, I generate an array from 0 to array from 0 to 10. Okay, so A will be generated. This is A array will be generated. Now B is a array from 2 to 5. I sliced it to 2 to 5. B is an array. So let's say that how much memory space has been required. Is it sharing same memory space or not? So for that, may share memory is a function. that will give you an output. So this particular function will inform you that whether A and B share the same memory space or not. So it is true that array A and B share the same memory space. Why? Because slicing doesn't create just memory space. It is just viewing, it is just showing you uh, output from the original array, a view of original array, a particular view of original array. It is not actually uh, utilizing any memory. So it is one of the good option when we are going for array, means when we are going for memory usage type of operation. Since it is only a view, if an element of a slice is modified, the original array is modified as well. It should be kept in a mind. Although this facility can be desirable, it can create a nuisance in certain problems. Consequently, we have also a function copy that provides a way out of copying the original array instead of providing a view. And so we use a copy. So let's say now C is a function, sorry, C is a variable with a now 2 to 5. This is a proper method to write copy, and it will then copy the function. So C is actually utilizing an array, utilizing a memory. And when you write this command A and C, it will say false, because C is actually memories are allocated to. It is copied of an array. Okay, that's the thing. Now, when we talk about another important feature of array, it is called masking. So you know that array can be indexed using the method of masking. The masking is a way to define the indices as a separate object and generate a new array from the original array using mask as a rule. So there are two ways that array can be masked. One is called fancy indexing, and other is called indexing using Boolean values. It is important to note that masking method generate copies instead of views. Okay, in the previous slides, we have talked about slicing, and this is masking. Slicing is totally different. It is not equivalent to masking. Okay, it is important to note that slicing and masking are different, and there are two type of masking, that is fancy indexing, and the second is indexing using Boolean value. So now let's talk about fancy. Uh, so fancy indexing is a quite unique function, that is NumPy offers quite unique indexing facilities, and one of it is fancy indexing, where an array of indexes can be used to generate an array of elements. Okay. Let us check what the fancy indexing means using an example. Now, as you can see, first of all, let me clear the command window. Okay, now I will generate an array A. So here I have generated cubes of first 1000 numbers. Okay, first 1000 cubes, generated cubes of first 1000. So it will generate an A with 1000 raised to 3. Okay. Now I used to generate an array for the first 10 numbers starting from 0 to 9. Okay, in here I have used A for generating array A of first 1000 number of cube. Now I want to generate an array I for first 10 numbers. So what I will do, okay, and this will be okay. So A and I are generated. Okay, let's see what is A. So it is this. It is a huge array of 1000 number, and array I will be this. Okay. So now, of those elements of array A which has indices of elements of value of I, let's say A bracket I. So this is I am doing an indexing. So I is an indexing. So I is nothing but from 1 to 10. Okay. So I am using a of I as an indexing. The output will be 0th cube, 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, up to 9. That is 729. In a similar manner, let's say I have another array j. I have another array j, which is from number 0 to 50, but it is from number 0 to 50 with size 10, with of step size of 10. Okay, I will give it a name j. So j will be 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Now here, instead of writing AI, now I will go for AJ, and the output will be 0, 1000, 8000, 27,000, 60. So in this manner, a fancy indexing can be done. It is a very crucial part. You can also use a multi-dimensional array for indexing too. For example, let me say that I generate an array k, a multi-dimensional array k. Okay, multi-dimensional array k with elements. Let's say 2-dimensional array. And I will write this number. So k is actually 1 to 11, 12. So what happens when in this particular thing I index it with k, the output will be 1, 8, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1. So this type of indexing is also useful when you perform operation of looping type of thing, or you go for another purpose like image processing kind of thing, or Python, where you have to select a selected region of interest in this type of. At that time, the fancy indexing is one of the major parts is used. The next important part will be the next important tab of masking is the indexing view to Boolean array. So indexing using integers specifies the position of the element. Okay, so by using fancy indexing, we can pick up those particular elements. This is done with different philosophy when using Boolean data type for indexing. Here Boolean value true, which means that an array should become a part of final array, and the value false indicates that means the element should not become a part of array. Okay, so the Boolean array is similar to fancy indexing, but it uses a different philosophy. Let us understand by this an example which will be more facilitating to us. Okay, so let me just open the Python console and let me just clear this screen first. Okay, now